Hi guys, Callie's sleeping right there, in case you wanted to know what that little fur ball was. She's my baby's. She's my baby fur ball though. Anyway, so today in history, and I always liked this segment. I'm glad I started it, not to pat myself on the back too much, but always fun to learn what happened. And today in history, November 16th, Francisco Pizarro traps Incan Emperor Atahualpa. I think I pronounced that right. On November 16th, 1532, Francisco Pizarro, the Spanish explorer and conquistador, springs a trap on the Incan Emperor Atahualpa. With fewer than 200 men against several thousand, Pizarro lures Atahualpa to a feast in the emperor's honor and then opens fire on the unarmed Incans. That's just not fair. I don't care how you cut it. That's not fair. What, you can't beat them in a fair fight? Pizarro's men massacred the Incans and captured Atahualpa, forcing him to convert to Christianity before eventually killing him. Because of course they killed him. That's what they did. Pizarro's timing for conquest was perfect. I don't think the Incans would say that. By 1532, the Incan Empire was embroiled in a civil war that had decimated the population and divided the people's loyalties. I still would say the Incan people would disagree. Atahualpa, the younger son of former Incan ruler Huayna Capac, had just deposed his half-brother Huascar and was in the midst of reuniting his kingdom when Pizarro arrived in 1531 with the endorsement of Spain's King Charles V. On his way to the Incan capital, Pizarro learned of the war and began recruiting soldiers still loyal to Huascar. Well, that's okay if he did it with the King of Spain's permission. That changes everything. Pizarro met Atahualpa just outside Cajamarca, a small Incan town tucked into a valley of the Andes. Sending his brother Hernan as an envoy, Pizarro invited Atahualpa back to Cajamarca for a feast in honor of Atahualpa's ascendance to the throne. Though he had nearly 80,000 soldiers with him in the mountains, Atahualpa consented to attend the feast with only 5,000 unarmed men. He was met by Vincent de Valverde, a friar traveling with Pizarro. While Pizarro's men lay in wait, Valverde urged Atahualpa to convert and accept Charles V as sovereign. Because of course they did. Europeans are very Eurocentric. Sorry, Europeans. You might not be as Eurocentric as now as you were back then, but you were very Eurocentric back then. And I might say that about my fellow Americans. We're very Americocentric. Atahualpa angrily refused, prompting Valverde to give the signal to Pizarro to open fire. Trapped in tight quarters, the panicking Incan soldiers made easy prey for the Spanish. Pizarro's men slaughtered the 5,000 Incans in just an hour, Pizarro himself suffered the only Spanish injury, a cut on his hand sustained as he saved Atahualpa from death. "Oh, very big of you, Pizarro." Realizing Atahualpa was initially more valuable alive than dead, Pizarro kept the emperor in captivity while he made plans to take over the rest of his empire. In response, Atahualpa appeared to his captors' greed, offering them a room full of gold and silver in exchange for his liberation. Pizarro consented, but after receiving the ransom, Pizarro brought Atahualpa up on charges of stirring up rebellion. By that time, Atahualpa had played his part in pacifying the Incans, while Pizarro secured his power, and Pizarro considered him disposable. Because of course he did. When did the conquistadors ever keep their word? Sorry, Spanish dudes. Nothing against you today. Atahualpa was to be burned at the stake. The Spanish believed this to be a fitting death for a heathen, but at the last moment Valverde offered the emperor clemency if he would convert. Atahualpa submitted, only to be executed by strangulation. The day was August 29th, 1533. Because, of course, they were bloodthirsty. I might add that just about everybody was bloodthirsty at this time, so it wasn't just the Spanish. Fighting between the Spanish and the Incas would continue well after Atahualpa's death as Spain consolidated its conquests. Pizarro's bold victory at Cajamarca, however, effectively marked the end of the Incan Empire and the beginning of the European colonization of South America. So that's nice. She said with sarcasm. Hi, Robert. You still here? Sorry, I was doing my Today in History. How you doing? So anyway, Robert X is here. Say hello to Robert X, everyone. And now the main event. The thing that everybody's come for is my making fun of the Bible. It's so easy to make fun of, don't you agree? Today we make fun of Proverbs 25, 1 through 22. Don't you think it's strange that the dumbest stuff in the Bible comes from the book that's supposed to be from the wisest man? It's not all from the wisest man, by the way. I'm not even going to get into that tonight. 25:1. These are more Proverbs of Solomon, compiled by the men of Hezekiah, king of Judah. People, I think we all know who Hezekiah was. You don't need to tell us. It is the glory of God to conceal a matter. To search out a matter is the glory of kings. Whoa, wait a minute. Whatever happened to ask and it shall be given you? Seek and ye shall find. Knock and it shall be opened to you. This makes no sense. It is the glory of God to conceal a matter? Why? That's what I want to know. Why is it the glory of God to conceal a matter? Wouldn't it be easier just to tell everyone, hey, I'm here, by something more than just a 2,000-year-old book. And no, the Bible isn't as old as everybody thinks it is. But I'm not going to get into that today either. To search out a matter is the glory of kings. As the heavens are high and the earth is deep, so the hearts of kings are unsearchable. No, they aren't. No, they aren't. At heart, kings are politicians, and there's only two things politicians have on their mind: money and power. It's not that difficult, people. Robert says almost too easy, but go on. Verse 4. Remove the dross from the silver, and a silversmith can produce a vessel. What? That doesn't make any sense. Robert, does that make any sense to you? Am I the only one that's like, what are you talking about? Moving on. Verse 5. Remove wicked officials from the king's presence, and his throne will be established through righteousness. First of all, last part of the verse, no, 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 and no. And for the first part of the verse, define wicked. Verse 6. Do not exalt yourself in the king's presence, and do not claim a place among his great men. Why not? Seriously, why not? Verse 7. It is better for him to say to you, come up here, than for him to humiliate you before his nobles. Not really. I'd be standing and applauding. Be like, you go, man. You know, this person thinks he's all that. He ain't all that. He's just a man like the rest of us. Well, except me, I'm a woman. But you know what I mean. What you have seen with your eyes do not bring hastily to court, for what will you do in the end if your neighbor puts you to shame? I can see that. I can see how that can be good advice. But again, courts aren't going to accept anything willy-nilly. Like, look at our idiot president filing frivolous lawsuits all over the place. Every single state has kicked him out that they've been filed in thus far. I don't know how courts worked back then. It may have worked differently back then. Verse 9. If you take your neighbor to court, do not betray another's confidence, or the one who hears it may shame you, and the charge against you will stand. Again, I have no clue what he's talking about, unless it was something, that was just for that day and time, which We're talking about quartz here. It could be. Verse 11. Like apples of gold in settings of silver. I'd like to stop right there. This is how kings were back in the day. Gold apples setting silver settings. They didn't think about it. They did it. They thought it was their right. It is not your right. Okay? It isn't. Is a ruling rightly given? I'm not even going to bother with that one. For my regular viewers, you know what that means. Verse 12, like an earring of gold or an ornament of fine gold is the rebuke of a wise judge to a listening ear. Again, you have to define wise. Okay, Robert. Verse 13, like a snow-cooled drink at harvest time is a trustworthy messenger to the one who sends him. I just want to stop right there. I didn't think Israel had snow. Anybody know? I didn't think they had snow. Maybe in the mountains? I don't know. They don't have too many mountains, though. Anyway. He refreshes the spirit of his master. Really? Really? This is why I call this dumb stuff in the Bible. Because it's pretty dumb. Verse 14, like clouds and wind without rain is one who boasts of gifts never given. You know what that is? Gobbledygook. Oh, Robert said it has mountains, so maybe? Okay, Robert. Yeah, I can see it. If it's got mountains, they may have snow there then. Yeah, thank you for letting me know. Verse 15. Through patience, a ruler can be persuaded, and a gentle tongue can break a bone. Let me just address the first half of that verse. Through patience, a ruler can be persuaded. Not our outgoing president, Donald effing Trump. I'm telling you what, January 20th, which, by the way, Robert, is when we get rid of him, cannot come soon enough. And what's this gentle tongue can break a bone about? Again, gobbledygook. Verse 16, if you find honey, eat just enough. Too much of it, and you will vomit. Pretty sure if you eat too much of anything, you'll vomit. Okay, thanks, Robert. I did not know that. Jerusalem experiences heavy snowfall every 3 or 4 years. Did not know that. Alright, let's see. So, alright, I said that. Okay. Verse 17. Seldom set foot in your neighbor's house. Too much of you, and they will hate you. That's just common sense, people. Because they don't have to put up with you like your family does. Verse 18. Like a club or a sword or a sharp arrow is one who gives false testimony against a neighbor. Okay, I don't know what one has to do with another, but I can see that. I mean, it's a simile, so it doesn't have to totally line up. Verse 19. Like a broken tooth or a lame foot is reliance on the unfaithful in a time of trouble. Oh. And we can rely on a God that doesn't exist? That would be my answer to that. Oh, wait a minute. I just answered it. Like one who takes away a garment on a cold day, or like vinegar poured on a wound, is one who sings songs to a heavy heart. Again, that's just gobbledygook. To me, and this is just me, you know, there may be people, there are people like me, I know people like me, and I know people who aren't like me. So it just depends on who you are. I like I enjoy songs when I'm quote unquote heavy in heart. Verse 21. If your enemy is hungry, give him food to eat. If he is thirsty, give him water to drink. Verse 22. Now, if he had stopped right there at verse 21, I would have said, good going, good job. Yeah, you should. You know, if somebody's hungry, somebody's thirsty, doesn't matter. Give them food, give them water, send them on their way. But then he had to go ruin it in verse 22. In doing this, you will heap burning coals on his head, and the Lord will reward you. And that's all I'm going to do for today. Okay, so first of all, that's just mean. Expecting God to heap burning coals on his head, a God that doesn't exist, mind you, to heap burning coals on his head just because you give your enemy something to drink, that is just... that is a downright inhumane and horrible thing to do. And why are you expecting a reward? Just for doing what you're supposed to do. I don't care if he is your enemy. If he's hungry, you should feed him. If he's thirsty, you should give him some water. I don't care if he's your worst enemy. He's still a human being. Robert, I don't have an Xbox. But I get the joke. I get the joke. So anyway, yeah. So that was fun. Um, I don't. It's almost this passive aggressiveness all through the Bible. You know, you're supposed to be kind. Well, when you're supposed to be kind. You're not always supposed to be kind. There are times it's fine and dandy not to be kind. And we'll get to that in my, going through the Bible series. I'm in Genesis 16, I think, right now. But that's for my Saturday live streams. By the way, might as well plug my Saturday live streams since I brought them up. Saturday live streams. I do not have a fixed a fixed time for my Saturday live streams. That is because I take care of my dad and I have no idea when I will be able to come online. So that's the only reason it is not a fixed time for my Saturday live streams. Second, there is a comment of the week on my Saturday live streams, which I actually start out with, and Robert has actually won comment of the week. And so, if you would like to be in the running for the comment of the week, please comment on one of my edited videos. That is the way you get into the running for the comment of the week. If you do not want to be in the running for the comment of the week, and I understand some people don't, so I'm not saying anything against you, you know. But if you do not want to be in the running for the comment of the week, just write something in there about, I don't want this chosen as comment of the week or something. Something like that. I will respect your wishes. Okay? So, anyway, I was just like, wow. You know, like I said, it's almost ironic in a way that I get my things for bad advice from the Bible and dumb stuff from the Bible from Proverbs, which is supposed to be written by the wisest man who ever lived. Seriously, the dude wanted to settle a dispute between women by cutting a baby in half. Are you really going to sit there and tell me that this is a wise dude? Come on. So anyway, thanks for dropping by, Robert. Have fun. I'm gonna go now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more content.